Hello, everyone. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I'll give you a cue. Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron. Some of my friends, my close friends, they know me as Skyler. Today is day one of an experimental program, show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, where I intend to, with my brother here, Raven, White Raven, to bring in the gnosis of many years of a spiritual journey, which have been an intention, a path of ascension. And now we are called to begin to share our stories. Now, the theme of this podcast, as it grows and develops into whatever it's meant to become, is called Fox. It's called Fox. It's not called Fox. It's called Vox Occultus in Draconis, which means the hidden voice of the dragon. And this theme is meant to bring forth the voices of dragons. For I myself and my brother here have worked with dragons for many years on our spiritual journey, finding many paths across many cultures and the connections of each of them in healing, in magic, in alchemy, and everything related. So today we're here to share some experiences that we've had, especially recently, and whatever comes up from that as the voice of our familiars, the dragons, is relevant to this discussion. Now, it's good to know that this is not necessarily a linear thing. So we're going to be ourselves, we're going to be raw, we're going to be kind about it. And we're going to begin by having Raven's partner here, White Buffalo, to read us some questions, to get us infused with the experiences that we've had, and answer them as they come, in the name of the Ancient Ones, as they reveal themselves to us in many ways. And humble and odd, we begin. So, if you would, White Buffalo,
All
nice and
right.
loud and clear.
Okay, gentlemen. How do you view what is happening on the planet right now?
I'm going to take the first vote.
I feel that we as a race of people have lost connection with the natural life, the ways of the jungle, the ways of the forest, the ways of the land. And I think that now that we've been detached for so long, we've forgotten who we are and what we're here for. It seems like a lot of us are still searching for what we are, and a lot of us are confused as to what's going on because they're so embedded into the whole happenings of society or the system and chasing money or objects and not enjoying what we've been given as a gift. And it seems that we've turned our back on what life is and how to live life, what the herbs are, what the first generation fruits and vegetables are, forgetting to put our hands in the soil, keeping the rivers and the oceans and lakes clean. Would you like to add?
I would like to add, and I'm going to add in a more esoteric way, I think. There's some powerful astrology happening lately, and I know not everybody's really into astrology, and I know a lot of people know that there's some powerful astrology happening right now. They're going through a lot of things. Personally, since the solstice, I have felt some tremendous awakening power coming into the planet. The Ancient Ones, when I say the Ancient Ones, I refer to the most primordial powers and spirits who have shown up in many ways in many cultures by many forms and faces, are making themselves more present with us now. Because the soul of the world still needs to be balanced. And my brother, White Raven here, as he's talking about this, there is still a lot of greed and corruption on this planet. But right now, those of us who have been doing the work this lifetime and many lifetimes are being called forth to remember. And we must remember because it is time to implement our keys of gnosis in whatever way we come to that brilliance, from the gods or the spirits that we cherish, or even our own God self. As it comes into apotheosis for some of us, it's time to dispense that. It's time to follow your arts. It's time to get into your gifts. It's time to follow your disciplines. It's time to do what your gut says and not what other people tell you to do. It's time to release the dogma. It's time to let go of concepts that do not help us as a society as a whole. And I know from talking to many people right now who are experiencing this, that some of us are being called forth to understand things we did not necessarily think we would understand right away.
Yeah, a lot of us try to fill the void of being detached from our body's mother with like objects, like whatever it be, drugs, alcohol, coffee, whatever addiction that someone chooses, and they think that they can fill the void from being detached with a car or whatever, but it doesn't work. It never fills the void, because the void is reconnecting, right? Reconnecting with everything there is.
Mm-hmm. And this doesn't mean that it's wrong to have those things. It doesn't mean it's wrong to have a car. Hold on. It's not having a car is a bad thing. It's not smoking a cigarette is a bad thing, or drinking a coffee. You have to follow your gut, and sometimes things are going to happen in ways that we don't necessarily see it's right or wrong always, that we need to do. We need to go through those addictions. We need to go through those initiations. We need to have those trials. And, I drink coffee. For me, now, I didn't drink coffee for a long time as medicine. I smoke tobacco. If I smoke tobacco, I'm going to think of it as a medicine. Even if it's a bad cigarette, if you're still smoking the tobacco, have intention. Know there is a spirit. The chemical may mess it up. However, it's still there. Now, we need to find balance between what we need to let go of and what we need to shift our perception of, and how we perceive it, the shame and guilt. We need to let go of the shame and guilt in order to overcome addictions, but also to have these things in healthy ways without them condemning ourselves. And if we are condemning our bodies in some ways, we need to be able to make the sacrifice and understand how that can regenerate another way with other medicines. I think the next question might be a good idea, though. You want to read the next question, White Buffalo? Nice and loud.
Absolutely. Could you share with us the experience that occurred through your own eyes and heart on this sacred land?
Share the experience that occurred through our own eyes and heart on the sacred land. I'm going to let you take that.
Land?
Yeah, I'm going to let you take that because you started seeing things first.
I was looking across the cornfield that's just over here, and I saw what looked to be like ethereal beings, and they look, I don't know, they resembled kind of an eye-looking shape, kind of jellyfish. And there was lights, and there was a bunch of them. There was probably 5, maybe 6 of them, and they were making like these movements that were going back and forth, and it was very graceful and rhythmic, and it was moving forward, all of them. And then there was a light that was just over here by the corner of the trees here, on the edge of the tree line here, and the light would come out, sit there, and like bob back behind the trees, and then I couldn't believe what was going on. Like, it was amazing to see the colors. Like it was like
Bioluminescent.
Bioluminescent, yeah, bioluminescent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we all saw the same thing here. We're all hanging out all night. White Buffalo, you saw it too, right?
Absolutely.
And we were all looking right on the sky, clear in the night. The clouds are open, and I see this thing come across the sky first. And as it peeks beyond the trees, it looks like it has wings to me. You know, it's a double. It has double. It's very bright. It's not flashing. There's no colors of any airplanes. What's funny is there were airplanes actually around in the area, or something. And this wasn't the first manifestation we saw on that day and the night, but I saw it clear as day too. And on the corner over here, you can't see it right now, there was a star as this thing was moving also, and the star was very bright and was sitting in the sky. And I would turn my back and I would look the other way, and I would look back again, and that star was gone. And I'd do the same thing. I'd turn away and look back, and that star was there again. Now,
remember when I went down to the edge of the grass?
Yep.
And then you were looking, and I was looking up at this light. Right, it was looking right at me, and then the closer I started to look, I could see ethereal like tendrils or like tentacles.
Yeah.
It was,
Tentacles.
it was like, what am I looking at? Like, I was so astonished. Like, I was like, look, I was waving at it. Oh man, it was just some of the best things I've seen in my life.
So it's interesting. We understand, we think we understand what these manifestations are, and that's a lot to get into today. So we'll talk about that another time. But it has a backstory, and where it began yesterday when my friends came to stay over, we were looking in the sky, and surrounding the whole outer perimeter of my land here in Ontario, there were clouds like I've never seen. And he helped point them out for me. There's clouds with dragon heads
Three
that
dragons.
had scales. There were 3 dragons. They were swirling around the entire place. It looked like veils were opening in the sky. Their heads were clear. One of them had a lightning bolt flash out of it. There was a serpent in the sky that stayed there for over an hour or so. And this made a very important seal that I work with in one of my grimoires.
And then remember when we walked around the pond, and as we came out of into the opening there, and we looked up, and I was like, look, there's another. It was a massive dragon head with all types of colors. You could see an eye perfectly. The snout, I was like, wow, look, Skyler, like, wow, there's another dragon, a 4th dragon, but just the big head, and it was a massive head.
Yeah.
Like,
we even saw it as we went to the grocery store to get some implements. And when that night happened, after that, the night, we felt a very deep kind of ritual-like ceremony happening while we were enjoying ourselves. Things were being placed in my garden, things were being said. It felt like the witch gods were present. It felt like many beings were present. Now, I had a dream the other night that it kind of led up to this, where I'm standing on this tall tower, and I am creating this diamond gateway, and I am creating a bridge to Atlantis. Now, I'm going to get into this story another day, but everybody knows that Atlantis fell. There was a reason for that. There was some corruption. Since then, the tree of life, and the tree of death, and knowledge, the Qliphoth, and the Dayside Kabbalah, they have been set up for initiation so that we don't tap into the power of the void too quickly, because that's what happened there. So some of us feel like we're still connected to Atlantis, and the reason for that is that in some paths they think that the primordial mother goddess, when she had to put this aside because of the corruption, she encased Atlantis under the underworld, basically, in a realm of initiation until the time of the prophecy. And there's still a lot of time within that prophecy, but there are some things happening on the planet now that make it seem like some things need to start happening when it comes to balancing the soul of the world, or else the same thing would happen again. And I don't think it would happen for maybe a while, maybe hundreds of years actually, as it says in some of my grimoires. But it definitely would be a huge disaster if we didn't balance the soul of the world with the gods now. And things are happening on this planet that are a big deal. Some cataclysms and a lot of things. This is the Earth's way of balancing things out. And if we don't do the work, then we have more of a chance that these cataclysms will happen in bigger ways. And so we're being called upon at this time to do this. And this whole scene of these dragon gods, which I consider them to be, showing up on this land, was a message for us to start sharing some information as well. that you saw or that you wanted to mention?
No, not just that it was beautiful and miraculous. Like I've never seen that.
It was
before.
beautiful. It was
what did you feel?
I
Like,
felt
I
like
felt like I was like, wow.
I felt
they're showing
blessed.
themselves to us.
I felt honored. I felt in awe that even such a thing would ever happen to me here. I mean, I've been waiting for contact experiences, and
I've seen 2 ships with buffalo, but
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I don't even think this was a ship. Like,
No, they didn't.
like
look
Atlantean
ships.
beings have tentacles, and I mean,
They
tentacle
felt
is
more
one
like
of
beings.
yeah,
Yeah.
and tentacles
Yeah.
are one of the primal
They were
forms
moving like beings.
Yes.
of humanity, of the earth, of beings. Tentacles are one of the oldest primal
They were
codes.
moving like robots.
I think
or
like
ships or
octopuses. So yeah, we didn't feel like they were ships.
Moving like organic.
And they weren't even that high. They were just,
organisms.
like high as that this tree line that's here. That's not very high. How high would you say that tree line there is?
Oh, maybe 20, 30 feet, not
Yeah,
even.
to about 30 feet, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so these beings were things. Sorry about that. Beings that were they were about 30 feet above the cornfield, and they were just all looked like they were just willing to show themselves to us.
Yep. So things got
And
really
there was,
weird.
There was 5 of us all together.
It
there,
got weird,
5
but
people.
it was ecstatic. There was a fire and a lightning in our bones a bit, but it was also ecstatic, and it was like they were telling us, you've been asked to do something. We're asking you to remember. We're asking you to pass it on. There are a great many number of subjects.
Remember the way. Remember
All
the
3 of us could speak about
Yes.
for sure, and there will be more videos, and there will be other
remember
people.
the original, only primordial source force of all of existence.
So all the secrets
Where
and the
everything
mysteries,
comes from.
all the secrets and the mysteries, all of occult knowledge come from these primal beings. There are various levels of it. It's not for everyone at all levels, but in the keys of all those keys of everyone who understands that and anchors them, there is definitely something for everybody to gain from any dimension of understanding. Now, we're not saying that we're the one and onlys. We're not saying that we own it. We're not saying, we give all credit to the gods.
End all be all. We're just giving you our perspective and our,
Yep.
take on what we've experienced, and this is pretty much what the channel will be about.
Yep, and it's going to be different all the time. Sometimes there's going to be opinions that sound a little heavier. The dark and the light become one. But all in all, there's going to be many people coming through and sharing their perception of magic, their perception of healing from the arts that they've come to. Because I connect to very many arts under my own. I'm particularly primal craft. That is something to research yourself in terms of what's going on. There are YouTube videos on that with Mona Magick, with Mark Allen Smith. There are grimoires. I would not buy any that have been raised up in price. There are new versions of the first and second grimoires coming out next year for those who are interested and called to that. He identifies with or doesn't identify with what he does, and he resonates with the things that I work with in his own way. And there'll be others who are coming through to share that with me here. We're sitting in my garden, the Witch's Garden of Hecate, which is my devotional piece, and this is the sigil of Hecate here. And this has been worked with very much with these beings in the last few days. So this space has been set up to become a good spot for that. And I'll show you other pieces of land at some point.
Yeah, good videos of everything later, and other videos and things, right?
Are there any more questions? No?
No?
So I think we're going to wrap that up today, because this is the first segment, and it was all planned by the spirits here, and we're just going with it. And this is going to get the ball rolling.
An introduction.
An introduction for Vox Occultus in Draconis, the hidden voice of the dragon. And there will be a site come up, there will be pages coming up, there will be some other themes, maybe some workshops, maybe some poetry, maybe some music. And we're going to get some collaborations with those who we're called to work with. And, we're heading towards some projects in the future that are also involved on more land. And, everything is falling into place, and I'm confident with where I'm at, and I don't need to rush, and I just let what the gods need me to do. And your gods may be different names and different gods, but they all connect somewhere to me.
Thank you.
Until next time, brethren and sisters.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you everyone, and thank you
Brethren and
gentlemen
sisters.
for your openness.
Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be.
Yes, thank you.
And wassail, be whole.
And thank you all for watching.